Oh, that's so cute. They said let's go in French, I believe.
Well, don't worry, we'll keep it here in English, but it is so good to see so many international duels. We all speak another language. It's Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's right. Oh, you're so right. I don't care if the person is across from me is blind, knows only Chinese and no English. We can communicate through cards.
Well, speaking of communicating through cards, let's let the cards do the talking as Damien starts with Allure of Darkness, drawing 2, and banishing Dormouse.
That's the only one he's got, but it's the only one he's gonna need, baby. Pay 300 life points, summon, and then anything on resolution?
Well, French champion privilege right there. Gonna banish. Wow, no response.
Yep, just use the effect here and banish another Malice name from the deck to the banishment. It looks like we're targeting White Rabbit. Oh, I love these cards so much. Forgive me for being giddy. I can't play these in Genesis because they're like a Link deck.
I mean, you still could. You could just use United We Stand after getting all these level 3 bodies on the field and run like Gravity Bind.
That'd be epic. But here we see the White Rabbit being summoned by paying 300 life points and using its effect on summon to search for a Malice spell trap and sending it. We're going to set the patented GWCO6. That is the essential reborn for the deck.
And there's the Mulcharmy Fuwalis that Ryan was holding on to, trying not to reveal to his opponent that he had that. And now we know it's good. Oh, Called by the Grave. Never mind.
Oh my goodness, that French Call by the Grave coming down with the swiftness to banish the Fuwalos and now negate all Mulcharmy Fuwalases for the rest of this turn. That is incredible to see because the reason why Raihan rated to use that was because now Damien was forced into going to a Link Summon, otherwise he'd be doing nothing else for the rest of the turn.
Well, let's see if he decides to keep things going. Yep, with the backup adding Nister being summoned to the field.
Yeah, this is just a normal summon of backup, not normally the way you see this card. You usually see it as a special from the hand when you have a Link in play, but you can get value out of it just by normal summoning it, and now we can go straight into a Link 3 if we're Damien. I'm thinking Damien's trying to respect cards like Nibiru the Primal Being by doing this, because he's already going to be on his 3rd summon. But if by your 4th summon you've gone to your Link 3 for Malice, you're a lot more insulated against cards like that.
Well, you mentioned Nibiru. I do think I saw it in Ryan's hand there, so we're going to go in Link 3. This will be the 4th summon of the duel.
So yeah, Damien's taking a more conservative route than I think other players would, but you got to keep in mind that a lot of the really good extenders like Splash Mage and Link Decoder are forbidden for a reason.
Well, I do feel like if you've been to the World Championship, you probably have some good plays under your belt. So we activate Malice and Underground. Going to banish another Malice card here.
Okay.
This time it's Malice in the Mirror.
Yeah, so here we get access to the 2 powerful Malice spell cards just by going through Red Ransom. And we're going to be using the effect of Malice in the Mirror to banish the copy of Chessy Cat that we sent off of the backup to then go ahead, banish and get the search for the March Hare because it's the same type of card as Chessy Cat. That's how Malice in the Mirror works.
Good stuff there as we see the Malice B Chessy Cat special summon to the field. Their life points furiously going down, but don't worry, they'll go back up as soon as you can say GWCO6.
Yep. And I guess the question is, what is Damien kind of building towards? Because we still have the powerful boss monsters of the Cyber stack, like Allied Code Talker at Ignister, like Topologic Bomber Dragon, lots of things that Malice is known for, but you can also just use in-archetype stuff like Heart Scripter and the GWCO6 to have plenty of ways to interact with your opponent on their turn with non-target banishes.
Even a Firewall Dragon in this format would be pretty strong because we know how good Dracotail is, because Dracotail Arthalion being able to just sort of recur resources from graveyards or return cards on the field back to the hand. And we're getting a little closer to that as we bring out Cyburst Wicked, which does have that arrow pointing down, but it's more than that. It is protection for all these cool Cyburst cards, so we'll see how Damien establishes this field.
Yeah, you can also get him access to like another backup at Ignister if he wants it for follow-up, which could be pretty interesting. So here we see the effect of March Hare, going to go ahead and banish itself to summon. This is actually a quick effect that he could have saved for Ryan's turn, but is choosing to use it now. We're going to be getting rid of the Red Ransom here and try to summon it back out and get an additional banish this turn. I believe we've done all the main deck monster names. So depending on what Cyber's monster he wants to banish, could be later. There we see the Wicked using its effect because the March Hare was summoned to his own at points to go ahead and search for that backup like I said. And then we see Chainlink 1 for the Ransom, paying 900 to summon itself out and banish another Cyberse from our deck.
Ouais, c'est ça. Je vais rien bannir.
Life points getting low, but cards heating right up.
If we see a Dotscaper right now, I'm going to go crazy. Okay, we do not get the banish of Red Ransom from the deck because, like I said, Damien's gone through all the really important names already. We're just going to see a go-ahead link here into a Link 3. That's going to be White Binder. This card on summon will allow him to potentially banish 3 cards from his own graveyard if he wishes, but I think he's going to maybe choose to save that effect. Yep, we're just going to go ahead and use the Ignition effect to go ahead and set a Malice trap card. That's going to be the MTPO7. Already setting it down, meaning we need a little bit less work on Ryan's turn to start getting some more interaction.
Well, Damien locked in. You can see Ryan just kind of rubbing his beard there, thinking, man, that is a lot of monsters I'm going to have to press through.
Ooh, but here we see the GW6 coming down now. This could be in a bit of a trouble here for Damien, because if Ryan does have access to Nibiru, basically without access to GW6 again through White Binder, it's harder to play around that card if you're Damien.
And
So we
65
could see a big punish
after
here.
this.
If that is a card that's in Ryan's hand. Yep, so there we see the pay 900 of White Binder to summon itself back out and drawing a card.
65. Yeah.
Yep, so we have a total of 65 life points because we do gain life points back like GW6, like you said, Steven, because we did control the red ransom when the Chester Cat was summoned back. And now we're going to banish the red ransom using White Binder's on summon effect that we saved earlier. This is interesting.
Ooh, another Allure of Darkness, just reaching and reaching and reaching in the deck.
I think he's drawn 6 cards this turn just by drawing them with extra cards. Yes. Is that a 8-9 card hand or something if you're Damien?
I definitely saw some good stuff in there. I think an Infinite Impermanence as well as an Ash Blossom Majora's Spring, but this has got to be the Allied Kotakaratic Mystery thing.
Yeah, that's a Link 5.
Oh, no, it is just going to be Link 3 Heart Scripter.
Yeah, he's really valuing the double non-target banish that MTPO7 gives him, as well as Heart Scripter.
Well, here comes the Wizard Adignister.
Oh, you know what? He's going to make it this way. So he's going to use these 3 monsters to make Allied Kotaker, and that way he can summon back the Heart Scripter and have it be co-linked with the Allied Kotaker.
Oh, wow. This is going to be a lot on the field all at once. And we do get the IP Masquerena as well.
Oh, I believe Allied Kotaker needs at least 3 monsters, right? Or does it need only 2? Because if you can IP into that, that'd be crazy.
So we're about to find out what his play is. Oh, there's Nibiru, the Primal Being.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Raihan does have it, and with the access to not GWCO6, Damien has no real recourse to stopping this, I don't think.
Did he go too far in?
Yeah, I am curious to see what he was maybe trying to set up, but Raihan picking the perfect moment, I think, the patience of waiting to use this card when you knew almost all the resources were depleted is super huge, because he knew that, oh, you must have Wizard in hand, so using it now, you have ways to get all your stuff back anyway.
Shows exceptional understanding of Maliss combo lines, knowing exactly when my opponent is done playing their cards, so we're going to go ahead and see the YCS token there. Thank you, judges.
Il a combien? 0 def?
Ouais, 0 def.
I believe this token has 0 defense points because 2 Link monsters were sent to the graveyard.
Toujours en main, je réfléchis.
It must be so nice for the two of these fine gentlemen to be able to converse in their native language on top of just being able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! On the featured match stage. Obviously, we're here, we speak the language of many of the listeners here, but for some, it's probably good to hear a little of home.
And like you said, we definitely speak Yu-Gi-Oh! So we can translate what's happening, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the question I have if I'm Damien is, do I have a way to banish my Maliss Link monsters in the graveyard with like a Bystial or something? And the answer is yes, I do. So even though we got Nibiru, all of our resources are still in the graveyard, which means we have access to them at any point using cards like our Bystial. So we're going to go ahead and banish that White Binder. It'll summon itself back out, and then we're going to use its effect to banish the rest of our cards.
Je peux piocher?
Now, we are kind of jumping the gun. We would love to save these kinds of cards for when, you know, Ryan starts coming to the board to kind of punish him for doing so, but we need to be set up again if we're Damien, because if we don't have Maliss Link 3s in play, MTPO7 is basically a useless card.
Now, I don't want to say he's lucky to be alive. That would be underselling his level of skill, but he is finding a way to build that field back, already having a number of monsters on the field. Technically, 5 Link materials right there, although tokens usually aren't that helpful in Link Summon.
Not anymore than that, yeah. So there we see just the banishment of the Heart Scripter, paying another 900 life points. I believe that's going to bring us down to either 47.
Yeah, 44.
Yeah, 47 and then 44 with the March Hare adding itself back to hand as well. Okay.
Those who are seeing Maliss for the first time are like, why is he depleting his own life points? Believe you me, this deck is that good.
So there we see the Rahu Dracotail. Now, Damien knows what deck Ryan is playing, and he can now use his interaction accordingly. I'm not quite sure how well these decks line up into each other. I do know that cards like Mysterion can do really well into all these Cyberse monsters that summon themselves. But there we see the Ash Blossom on that Rahu. That's pretty big if that was the only way that Raihan had to fusion summon this turn.
Well, he's
and there it is!
Oh, wow!
The concession. So I believe we heard Ryan say that he was proudly going first as they draw their opening hands here. And let's see how we start off.
Yes.
I believe we're starting off with a patented...
Oh, that's different.
Ooh, Cashier of Fenrir. This is an awesome inclusion that Dracotail decks do in their side deck when they know they're going first, because essentially it's an extra monster you can have in your hand to use as fodder for your fusion summons. And my favorite interaction in all of Dracotail is the ability to, like, thanks to Arthalion, transmute your monsters that aren't Dracotails into Dracotails for your graveyard.
Well, he definitely has the key to victory there, but let's see what he activates next. I think I might see a normal summon of Malulu here, actually.
That's actually a really good.
Oh,
whoa!
what?
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Even the French champion is taken
That
aback
is
by
Dark
Dark
End
End Evaporation
Evaporation
Dragon.
Talk about. Well, this is the branded version of the deck we have to remember. So having access to these really different attributed dragons that are different levels, different attack points are really important because they unlock things like your branded fusions like Titaniclad, like Lumelion, etc., etc.
It's very powerful there, and it's nice to see. We've seen a lot of branded Dracotail, even on the feature match stage throughout this tournament, but this feels even more branded, right? It's really trying to get this stuff out.
So here we see the Evaporation Dragon's effect here. We're looking at our extra deck to pay for the cost. We're going to be banishing the Titaniclad to go ahead and, I believe, summon this card to the field. Oh, actually, no, I believe it's a summoning condition, not an effect. And now the effect on summon lets me search for a dragon. I believe.
Now he's got to think about that. Damien paused for thought there, trying to think of which point of interaction from his hand he wants to activate next.
Yeah, this was a really cool set of cards, the Dark End Dragon and the Light End Dragon that came out. I believe it was like they were commons in, I want to say Rise of the Duelist maybe.
A little bit more recent than that. I think Legacy of Destruction.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
But I don't care where they came from. The fact that they're out here it's neat. It's definitely a little bit of a soft chaz it up.
All right, so here we see the Demolition Dragon's effect here to go ahead and summon out the Arthalion. And because we use two monsters from the hand to summon this Arthalion, we're going to go ahead and bring out the Fenrir and the Thymina. Oh, that's what the Dark End Demolition. It lets you fusion summon, actually.
It does.
You could search or you could fusion summon. That's why it's cool. It's like another way to fuse in the deck.
And we're seeing that these monsters who are able to enable fusion summons really help. Of course, Malulu, Thymina, but yeah, Cartesia. Blazing Cartesia, you know, there's a lot of chat in the community. Fallen Valdez, yeah. But there's a lot of chat in the community about, like, does Blazing Cartesia work? Does it push the deck over the edge, etc.? Honestly, Dark End Evaporation Dragon doing a lot of the same work, and it is a big body there, so maybe we'll see an Xyz summon later in the turn, too. Although I think it fusion locks you, but it's still a big,
I don't think the Demolition Dragon does. I know Malulu does. So there we added back our two monsters. We basically just got a free Arthalion out there. We love to see that. And we now have a known Thymina in hand.
And you just have Kashira Fenrir in defense mode. That's still good.
So it looks like we're going for a Link summon here into Spheres, if I had to guess.
Yeah, two dragons.
Yeah, that works. And that puts the Arthalion in the grave, so that way when you fusion summon during your opponent's turn, it can come back and be an extra big body.
Looks like we are going to activate Rahu.
That's Ketu.
Oh, Ketu, excuse me.
And there we see the Impulse, because it does include the effect to summon a monster, even though he's not fusion summoning with it, it does still get negated by Impulse.
There's the Rahu.
Oh, and there we see the concession from Damien. He's like a Fenrir pointing at himself with his own hand. We have the opening hands here.
What?
So we go straight into main phase. There we see the Perulia, so we're not going to be going straight to main phase here. So any normal summons will be interacted with.
What?
So I see kind of a little bit of a stunted hand there, but he does at least have something he can use. So we're going to start off with Maliss White Rabbit, giving a draw there from the Molcharmi Perulia.
Yeah, Perulia is not the best Molcharmi into Maliss because they can get away with only giving you probably one draw at the most. But it could draw you into the other cards like Nibiru, like Fua, which could be helpful for breaking apart Damien's board.
But think about the fact that this is not yesterday's Maliss, it's today's Maliss, and so by having those Bystials, unfortunately, that does mean that you are going to summon more cards from the hand, so you have to time, am I going to try to go in now or later?
For sure, but there we see the Ash coming down to stop the Fualos because he knows Molcharmi, Perulia, and Fualos is going to be way too much for him to want to keep going.
And you can't concede to go to a game 4.
No, you cannot.
Can you imagine first to 5?
I actually think that could be pretty cool, but only for maybe the finals or something.
Well, we'll see what Yu-Gi-Oh! Looks like 10 years from now, but right now it looks like Damien is deciding whether or not he wants to push further. He does consider briefly, maybe not.
There we see the field spell. So I think I saw a Bystial in his hand. He was like, okay, what extender do I want to use? But like you're saying, he's probably priced into not playing into the Perulia as much as possible. So there we see the Underground banishing the only Dormouse that's in his deck, paying 300 and summoning to the field. Will this be stopped on summon? No, the effect is activating and we're banishing. We're off to the races, folks.
I love seeing a talented duelist like Damien play a deck that recently had multiple hits on the Forbidden Limited list. Some of my favorite decks are the ones like Snake Eyes and Tear Lament, where all the power cards were put to 1, and duelists are still like, no, I can play this, it's fine.
We'll make it work.
Speaking of making it work, we see the banishment there, Maliss P Chessy Cat, and then pay another 300 to bring it back.
Do we have a Malice card in hand to banish and draw 2? We do not. We're going straight for this Link 3 here. We've already gotten our field spell, so Ransom is a bit less great to go for here. This could be straight into Hard Scripter maybe, but no, we're going to go for the Ransom and we get access to Malice in the Mirror as a potential form of interaction.
You got to use something, because think about all those monster effects that do activate on the field, right? You don't want to let your opponent get the Dracotail Lucaeus, you don't want them to get the Malulu, so that could help.
Yep, and there we see the Jupiter 6 being used automatically here. This does kind of play into Nibiru a bit more than some of our other lines, but I feel like Damien's kind of forced to do this without giving Ryan any more cards.
6005.
Just have to bravely charge ahead and just say, what, Nibiru?
And here we see the March Hare being banished, paying another 300. That brings us, I believe, to all the names used plus Red Ransom.
No way.
Yep, so that's a total of 18. Oh, we haven't used White Rabbit yet. We haven't used White Rabbit very, very particularly.
And he fans out his graveyard. Looks like he is going to go ahead and banish.
Using the Chessy Cat's effect. Yeah.
What a great way to do that, just to search that field spell and not even, or excuse me, spell card and not even use it for its intended purpose, just use it as a way to keep things going.
Yep, so there we see the Malice and Mirror's effect when it's banished. To banish a Malice card from our graveyard, we're banishing a monster here to be able to search for another monster. We're going to get another copy of March here, just have plenty for both this turn and the following turn.
Arrêt.
Ok. Donc t'as 2 arrêts là.
Ouais.
Ok.
4 en main, c'est
Asking
ça?
a question here maybe about how many effects or names have been used so far. I believe the only one that hasn't been used in terms of its banish effect is White Rabbit.
Yeah, so 4 names used so far. I caught a Catra in the middle of there.
Nice.
Je parle français assez bien, mais mon accent est très mal.
You're so right, Bestie.
Yes, I am. Sorry. No, I'm just saying, I speak French, but not that great. My vocabulary and accent is terrible. Mon vocabulaire is très petit. But we all speak Yu-Gi-Oh here. So we're going to go ahead and link 2 here.
This is like a Wicked to me.
Cyber's Wicked. I'm so happy to see Cyber's Wicked getting played more often. Obviously, with better Cyber's tuners, that does make it work. But I remember playing that in like the Playmaker pile, where you just run everything.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing real duelists use it.
even Yosaku would be like, no, anyone that used it was always a real duelist.
Oh. Well, thanks, Playmaker.
So that's another draw there for Ryan, thanks to the March Hare being summoned from hand and banishing the Chessy.
Can you imagine if that was the mirror right then?
That would be, well...
Doesn't appear like it is, though. Still only 1 monster in the hand appears to... Oh, no, there's 2 now.
I think
but both are Dracotails.
I think Damien's a bit happier now into Nibiru because I think through Nibiru, if we have access to, like, Wizard or something, we could still get into White Binder to bring back the GWCO 6, which is kind of all we need, really, going into the next turn. So I think he's fine now to start playing into the Perulia a bit more, if that makes sense.
So we do use another Malice. We're going to get our White Rabbit back to the field.
What?
Réseau.
Oh, c'est bon.
Another Link summon here, combining Cyber's Wicked and Malice P March Hare.
I feel like this is going to be the White Binder here. Yep. Now this is big.
Je réfléchis.
Because getting access to 06 here would kind of fully insulate Damien for the rest of the next couple turns, and he'll have guaranteed interactions against Ryan. And there we see the Phantasmic.
Wow. I mean, it is a dragon.
And because the ignition effect of White Binder is an ignition effect, he's trying to draw into cards like Nibiru right now, because getting rid of it here would be the most important time to do so.
So, Ghost Spell in Haunted Mansion and Urgula being drawn.
Whoa, those are Ghost Spell is pretty good here, actually.
It actually is. But he didn't get to that hallowed Nibiru, so the Comet may be coming, but not yet.
Well, actually, now I think he has a check to the GWCO 6 during his turn, so he's kind of fine to let Damien rock with this now. Because for Damien to keep extending from here, he might have to give a lot of draws to Raihan off the Perulia still, like you were mentioning earlier. We need things like backup and Bystials to keep playing through this, and those both trigger Perulia.
Taking just a moment here to think.
It's like, where do we go from here? Because trying to get access to Cryptor might be a little tough without giving Raihan too much advantage.
I feel like you almost have to go all the way, though, because it's not like you're going to have another opportunity. He did draw an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, though, so with every summon from the hand, though, he does help Raihan just that much more.
I kind of got a glimpse of Ryan's hand. It's kind of crazy. there's some green cards in there that are kind of nuts. Just a little bit.
Malice all about the traps. A little bit of spells here and there, but Ryan's Dracotail deck is really going to be able to do numbers on this when his turn shows up. So it's... Do you think you go all the way into the allied Kotak or Ignister just to provide those extra negates?
In my mind, it's not worth it at this point because in order to do so, I think you'd have to give like another draw to Ryan, and giving him 7 cards with the power spells that exist in both the branded and the Dracotail archetypes feels not good enough. But there we see the Cryptor's effect shuffling back the Malice in the Mirror to just non-target banish the Phantasme, get that thing off the board. And there we see the pass over to Ryan as he starts his turn with, I think, a 7-card hand.
That's a lot for a fusion deck.
Yeah, trust me when I say it's enough.
All right, let's see if you're right.
So there we see the Ketsu. That'll be a search and a fusion summon because Damien controls a monster.
Unless he decides to use something like that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in his hand, but you got to be very careful here.
Well, you can also use Dominus Impulse on it too.
Damien pauses for just a moment. And there's the activation of the effect of Dominus Impulse from the hand.
This means all the potential light monsters he could have in his deck are now not going to work. It's worth noting.
Does come up from time to time.
Oh, yeah. But there we see Branded Fusion freshly
Wow.
at 2. The reason why people love playing this version of the Dracotail deck, but there we see the Ash Blossom, the #1 op of Branded Fusion.
Cries in Fallen of Albaz.
So even though Ryan had a 7-card hand, is he still able to play the Ultimate Eruption? We see the Mululu. That's another way to fuse. And we're going to use the effect.
Tu dois fusionner avec lui ou pas? Non.
This will lock him into fusions, though, for the rest of the turn, so it's worth noting.
All right, let's see what we got from Damien's side.
I mean, this is big. Like, if I'm Damien, like, and you have a way to stop this, you definitely should. We're going to use the effect of Cryptor here to non-target banish, meaning we're going to try to force Ryan to have another Dracotail name from the hand.
Well, if I remember, the Mululu is a fusion that includes this card, right? So with Mululu gone, it can't fuse. Yeah.
No. I believe it needs to include. I believe you need to summon a Dracotail monster.
Okay.
And all the Dracotails require Dracotails. Oh no. I actually think it. I think the restriction is just fusion monsters.
Okay, gotcha. So it looks like maybe he has no way to fuse. We're just cutting the deck. We're looking. He hasn't.
I think he's
made
debating
another
on the
move.
materials.
Just fabulous play from Damien, not letting a single thing go through.
Just forcing him to have
Yeah,
answers.
you think about it.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to decide materials, I guess. Because he has like a handful of monsters.
He does.
And I think I saw at least an Urgula,
And that could deal with the face-down trap card.
or at least force it out.
Désolé, je reste.
Oh, really thinking about this.
I mean, it's a tough call. Like, he has to get rid of so many of his cards.
Not here.
And then, like, maybe not get any of them back. Oh, I think we're using
Il a
3
pas été
monsters
reborn,
here?
lui.
No.
Oh, because maybe what he can do is he can order the chain links in a way that makes it to where he can clear the graveyard of monsters for Whitebinder to banish.
Wow, look at that. Urgula and 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to make a gigantic copy of Arthalion.
Yeah, but this is going to be able to bounce back to the hand 3 different monsters from the field or graveyard here. So we're going to chain link 1 that, targeting Whitebinder.
Ça.
I guess the idea being to make sure it cannot be banished if it's no longer in the graveyard.
For sure. But if you're Damien, you can just chain 06 to bring it out and dodge that.
But you do make your opponent do that. That could be part of the
Gambit
idea here, yeah.
The forcing of the effect.
This is kind of pins and needles. Like, every single move means so much.
And it's worth noting that I believe this Cryptor is normal attack points, so it's just 25, meaning Arthalion can swing over it.
Which Cryptor's big, but without the support from the field spell,
H.
not big enough.
Et la dernière.
So I believe we're just still declaring our targets with Arthalion.
Well, he needs to keep up the pace of play. You don't want to get a slow play penalty this early in the tournament and have to be on pins and needles later.
Oh, yes. It's always worth it to, take your time, but make your plays efficiently.
C'est ça.
And we're going to target the Heart's Cryptor to
Et
bounce
deux,
back as well,
sur le cul, là.
as well as use the Urgula's effect now to set and target a spell trap.
So
Sorry,
finally found it.
non-target destroy spell trap.
Which could still actually get rid of the field spell if it forces out the activation of the GWC06, just like you said.
Okay, because if you don't use it now, he'll just get rid of it. Right?
Ouais, cushion 3.
Ok.
And this one is not target, so we can just summon the binder.
So White Binder back on the
Non,
field.
d'abord, on résurgule.
Ouais, déjà, je gagne 2003, 2002.
Going to gain a little bit of life points there. Not a little bit. I mean, that's a pretty sizable amount.
Yeah.
But
Amiraou, je sais pas.
oh, this is with 19 minutes left to go. This duel will certainly end, and with moves as great as these, I'm very excited to see who comes out on top. But
Yep, and there we see the destruction of the underground, like you mentioned, and then we're going to bounce back the Crypt to the extra deck, add back the Ash Blossom, which is huge in case we have a way to banish this White Binder. It will have a check to it for coming back. But as we know, Ryan has Ghost Bell in his hand, so once he activates White Binder, he's going to be met with a cruel, cruel response. And depending on what Damien's hand is, he could be out of follow-up. I know we have March Hare in hand, so we could probably still access a White Rabbit play.
and we are banishing here for the on-summon effects.
We're targeting.
Oh, but there it is.
There it is. The
Nothing
Ghost Bell
happens.
on the White Binder's effect to banish. This will put a stop to all of Damien's on-field interruptions, and it's just going to be cards in hand, which I believe does include, I believe they're all known cards actually. It's Wizard, Backup, and March Hare.
Well, unfortunately, those monsters are going right back over to that graveyard.
Yeah, so the biggest thing for Damien here is he needs to be able to banish his White Binder to get access to MTPO7, but we have the March Hare to do that, so he can just take his time and see what else Ryan wants to do here. But if you're Damien, you kind of can't let him resolve this Rahu because that gets him access to Gulamel, which could just clear your entire board.
Ouais.
So yeah, on resolution of the Ghost Bell, we are going to be using Damien's March Hare here to banish. Oh, we have Red Ransom, and if we have more White Rabbits in the deck, we can use that too. Oh, that's pretty sick.
So found a way back to it. Going to go ahead and pay 900 life points here in order to bring out the Queen here, Red Ransom.
Yes. Oh, this is really expertly played here by Damien, just using the full power of all the Malice names to fight through, what is it, 3 different power spells plus a Ghost Bell and an Arthalion from Ryan here?
I know we said Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion was good earlier in this tournament, but man, is Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion good. But equally good, Damien's ability to just keep the plays going, manages to keep moving forward.
I mean, it forced Damien to have everything here. Yep, so we're going to be adding the Underground off the Red Ransom summon effect. We're going to pay another 300 to summon back the White Rabbit that was banished off the Ransom's banishment effect. And this will give us MTPO7, which can non-target banish any card in the field. And I think the card he's looking at is that set Rahu.
And I mean, you can do it in the open game state before your opponent can even flip up that normal spell, only spell speed 1.
That's right. There we see the Ash Blossom on the MTPO7 because it includes an effect to add a card from deck to hand, but that does not stop the White Binder from being summoned back. And
is that a concession? I think it is a concession. Raihan wins.